And this was a one-sided fight, a good one-sided fight, because the early part was a chess game. Both guys trying to get what they wanted. Ugas trying to get the counters. Spence trying to make sure you don't counter, not get careless, and be the boss. Establish a rhythm. Start to burn the house down, so to speak. So, but then once we got to the sixth, and we had that, we had the drama that we had in the fifth, sixth, it became all Spence. He took over. He started taking the building apart brick by brick, taking the building apart. And what happened? I mean, there's three things basically, or that you have to do to nullify a counterpuncher. Number one, or really basically, and in this case, he had to do two or three things. One was use the jab, as I just said. The other is the strength of Ugas, besides his style of counterpunching, is that he's pretty good defensively. How do you dismantle a guy defensively? Put water in the basement. Go to the body. He flooded out the basement. Flooded it out. I mean, so he understood very well what the game plan had to be, what he had to do. He, of course, again, being Spence, of what he had to do against this particular fighter. And he understood, what he couldn't do. He couldn't get caught with reaching in, getting over anxious. He couldn't get caught with the right hand, the southpaw killer. And he did, but he survived it because he had a good enough chin. And in this sixth round, the reason he got caught, and you touched on it, he got hit on the side, the mouthpiece went flying, and he made a big boo-boo. He looked, he let his focus go. You can't let your focus go in anything that you do at this level. And he did. It would be like driving a Ferrari, a race car in Indianapolis 500, right? You're driving it, Ken, and then all of a sudden a tire goes flying by your window. Really. And it could happen. It could happen. That's a real possibility. And you do this, Ken. You can't do that. You can't look at the tire fly. You got to let it fly. You can't look because you're gonna crash into the wall. So that's what happened. He looked at the tire flying. He looked at the mouthpiece, and he got caught a good right hand because of it. But I'll tell you something the commentators missed, Ken. I didn't miss it. I don't know. I get lucky sometimes. I went back to make sure. About 30 seconds before that tire went flying, before the mouthpiece went flying, Ugas had his back to the ropes, facing the ropes, and Spence was on the attack. And all of a sudden, I'm curious if you saw this, Ken. He stumbled back 2 steps. He just stumbled back, and then he went back at it. He caught himself, and he went back at it. The announcer said nothing. And I'm saying, wait a minute, something happened there. So I went back, and I watched it. He got caught a right hand. He got caught a short, beautiful right hand by Ugas. Beautiful, just boom, right inside, bang, right inside. He might have been throwing a left hook, and bang, he got caught a right hand, and he staggered back 2 steps. That's what caused that. And then 30 seconds later, of course, the mouthpiece goes out, and he gets caught that real clean right hand that hurt him. Now, here's another part. I try to touch everything. We pride ourselves in being the X-ray division of boxing, right? The CAT scan of boxing. Did the referee, I know there's fans out there going to be glad I'm touching this, and if they'd be probably saying, why didn't you say something? We were looking for somebody to answer our question. But did the referee get too involved, and did he save him? Did he give him home cooking? Now, I don't say that he did, but when his mouthpiece went flying, the rule is when there's a lull in action, you replace it. Now, was there a low in action at that point? I don't know. I'm honest. I'm not sure. It's close. It's a close call. But he did decide, Lawrence Call, the referee, did decide to step in, a very experienced guy. He was calling fights when I was doing the Friday night fights for all those years on ESPN. He decided to step in at that moment, replace the Malpig. It did give him time to recover. Would he have recovered without? See, that's the $1 million question. Would he have covered? And nobody talked about it. That's the funny part about it. But would he have recovered without that? It's kind of like the long count with Jack Dempsey and Gene Tunney. And I think in this case, Spence would have recovered. That's my feeling. But it is something that took place. It did become intangible, if you will, in the fight. And I'm sure that some people were thinking the same thing. Gee, did he have to step in at that moment? And if he didn't, what would have happened? But from that point on, man, I mean, the floodgates were open. I think I tweeted out that it was like high tide coming in at the shore. I mean, it came in. Oh, it came in. It came, and it was taking everything on the beach. It was taking everything, and Ugas had built a sandcastle, and man,
sandcastle, Teddy. He was taking cars from the parking lot. That was just, oh my God.
But I always feel sad when I see those kids make the sandcastle, and then all of a sudden the wave just wipes it out. And he tried to move the sandcastle back. His heart kept him in it. No, it was hard, but the waves kept coming. They kept coming.
It got the kids' sandcastle, the parents' chairs, the cooler, the umbrella. Everything was gone.
Yeah, the tanning lotion, everything. And so, boy, I mean, it just he didn't stop. Body and head and body, uppercuts mixed in. Chose all the right.
The punch selection was crazy.
Well, there was only two he needed on the inside: body and uppercuts. That's all he needed. Because the body was going to cause him to lean a little. The uppercut was going to do the job. So he was going up and down beautifully.
Have you ever seen Spence look better? I don't remember seeing him look this.
Yeah, I've seen him look about as good, but no, with that level of fighter. To your question. Better? No. He looked the way that you want Spence to look. A relentless fighting machine that's also technically sound. And, he goes to the body, he goes to the head. His punches are delivered the right way. His footing is right. His balance is right. Like I said, he pays attention to technical detail. I'll tell you what I walked away with it is, the only fight we want to see, of course, now is him and Crawford. And
they seem to both want it.
And it reminds me of Hearns Leonard. It does. It reminds me when that was the welterweight fight that everybody wanted. It reminds me it's going to be a big fight. It's going to be now. It's good it waited. It's good that it marinated. It really is, because now it's really going to be a big fight. And what became obvious to me, I'd be interested to see what my bookie says, but that Spence will be the favorite. There's no doubt about that. I feel he'll be the favorite now. And most people, a lot of boxing people, most writers, I think most of the writers, they will feel that now off of this, Spence will win based on he's too big, he's too strong, and he's too relentless for the smaller man who's moved up to his third weight class. But so most people will think that, except for one, the guy you're talking to.
I figured.
And I'll get into that when the fight is made. When the fight is made, and we need to talk about it in that kind of way, who's going to win and all that stuff, and the possibilities of, winning and what each guy has to do. I'll get into it then. But I'll tell you right now, I'm not one of the guys that – I love Spence, always have. But I'm not one of the guys who's jumping on. I still feel I know what I know, about both guys and about Crawford. And yeah, he looked great. He looked great, Spence. But it does not deter me from my thinking and my opinion that Mr. Crawford is I like him, and it'll be a hell of a fight. It'll be a hell of a fight and a hell of a test for both men. The only thing I give you off of it is Crawford has the ability to, as Spence, to adapt to different things, but he's got the instincts, and he's carried his power up in weight because you're gonna have to get Mr. Spence's attention. You're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to ring the doorbell. Yeah, you're gonna have to ring the doorbell. But he's got the instincts that I haven't seen him too often. Those kind of instincts that Crawford has, and he's a junkyard dog. And Spence is too. But
That's
anyway,
true.
it'll be a hell of a fight.